Hi, I'm Stephanie Flowers, and this is my Module 6 to address the accessibility and differentiation for online students. Please excuse me if I clear my throat or I cough because I've been sick this week, but I'll try to keep it to a limit as much as I can. I didn't realize it, but I guess online teaching, that could be a big problem too. So, the first document I wanted to analyze was the PowerPoint presentation that I had used whenever I did my synchronous lesson in D2L. So I thought since I've already used that one, I might as well analyze that PowerPoint. The first thing is the headings, properly formatted headings to add structure to the page. It's easy to read. If you look down through, all the questions are in the white area, and then it leaves space in the gray area for true or false, which I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. The color, looking over it, it looks like it's a good color combination. You have the dark text with the light color background, white or gray, so it should show up good and be easy to read. The keyboard accessibility, is designed so that I can just kind of hit the tab as I'm going through, um, or the space button, and I can go through each slide without requiring a mouse. This also made me think about when I was thinking about the keyboard accessibility, how many students that I have used different types of keyboards for, and I think that's another important aspect that you really need to consider in online education is you don't really know what type of keyboard or mouse they would be using. For example, I have had special keyboards for a student that has only had one arm. So the keyboard has been a lot smaller. It's like half the size of a regular keyboard, standard keyboard. I've had a student that is paralyzed and they can't move from like the neck down, and so she used a joystick in her mouth. We could attach it to her wheelchair, and then she would click it with her tongue. And she could kind of move around with that, and that was a really unique experience to help her with that. I mean, she would even do typing lessons and everything just using this mouth joystick. And I've had other students that have had like really big hands, and then I was able to find different keyboard to accommodate them, or the ergonomic keyboard. Sometimes that helps where it has a little bit of a space in it. So I found it interesting how whenever I'm reading over the online accessibility handbook, how it said that these are all important for the visual, hearing, mobility, and learning disability. So that's a really broad range, and that's a lot of needs to be considering. So the image alt text, I definitely need to improve that because it's something I never thought of before. I, if you go here and I click on it and then I hit the tab button, it will go to the question and then the picture. But if I go on down to the very last one, I have a lot more here, and I'm sorry, I don't know why my mouse is blinking. It usually does not do that, but I do have an older type computer, so hopefully I can get that to be fixed here in a minute. So, yeah, if I check the image alt text here, it goes to the title first, then it goes to the words, and then it finally goes to the image. So I did not provide the alternative text descriptions for the images, although they were related to each other in the true or false of each of the slides. So that does help, but I probably still should do the words and be more specific with that. Then navigation, the design, I think is fairly clear and consistent for easy navigation. It's not like there's a load of information on it. simple, easy to read. It's not overwhelming, and it doesn't give you information overload. The other thing is with this assignment that I was doing, I was using this as a review. So, being that it's a review, the navigation is still important, but the way the slides are set up and designed, like what the order of them, isn't as important since it's all review. I'd have to take more consideration into this if I'm introducing new topics for each one of those. The blinking is limited. I don't have any blinking except my mouse right now that for some reason I'm not getting to stop blinking. I do have older computers and monitors here, and when I read that about the blinking, I was actually wondering if my old computers here in the classroom would be affected by that or not, because some of my students will say, oh, that's giving me a headache from that blinking, because it is kind of fuzzy. So I guess that's kind of the same thing, but at least it's not severe enough for those students that, have the potential of having a seizure due to too much blinking. The required software, obviously, I must have PowerPoint to be able to view this, or my students would, or if I knew that they had Google Docs, since most students do have access to the internet and Google Docs, I could always convert it to a Google Docs presentation. Pretty simple, but it would still probably need a little bit of editing and accommodations for that process. As far as being specific, that was just like the general for the online accessibility handbook, but then they had some specific points about PowerPoints. I wanted to go through those quickly because I really felt like I did fail in this area. Whenever I clicked on the slideshow, and if I go to the outline, none of my text is over here. So I should have composed my outline in the outline view and then moved the slide view to the add images in the designs. I will have to fix that before I would teach an online class and try to remember that for future knowledge too. Excuse me. The slide layout, I used the PowerPoint provided slide layouts when building my slide presentation. So it's already a template, which kind of makes it nice here. I just used one of the basic ones. So it keeps it consistent, easy to read. When the clip art and images and shapes, because I have the older version of PowerPoint 2007, what was recommended as far as how I would go to view if I had the alt text in there in the pictures, I realized that I did not, but I had to do some research to figure out how to even check that. So what I found, because I am using Microsoft PowerPoint 2007 at work, I have to right click on this picture, and then I go down to the size and position. And then after that, they have a tab here dedicated just to the alt text. So this is something that I have never used before, and I would have to become a lot more familiar with this to know what would be the most helpful in that situation. And that basically sums up my PowerPoint. So yeah, I definitely need to make some more accommodations and some improvements in that. Okay, so the next document I used is a 8th grade filmmaking introduction that I will use to kind of have students go out, research, and find what they can on the 5 stages of filmmaking. So I do provide a website. I know that this one is the Wikipedia, and some people don't think Wikipedia is good, but it's not always bad. And there's 5 stages, and then they're supposed to fill it in on the left, the stage title on the left, and then a brief description here on the right. And looking down through here, I know that I did not create proper headings. When I look at the heading here I know that I should have been up here in my styles and using styles instead of creating, just bolding the font and making it bigger, changing the size of it too. So I would need to make improvements with that. It's not a table, it's just text boxes and some simple designs that we created. And so it's not like a nested or merged table, so that should not be an issue. The color, with it being the white, basic white with the black, it's a good contrast, so that should not be a problem. The keyboard accessibility, this is definitely a problem because if I go and click here, first off, I have to use the mouse to get into that. And then once I am there, if I hit tab, it doesn't let me move from text box to text box. So I would have to reformat that probably in a table instead of just doing shapes. So I could not get over here without using the mouse. So I definitely need to redesign that. Navigation, I think is pretty simple. The design is clear and consistent, so students should be able to focus on the content rather than how to find things. It's not like I am overloading, information overload on this. Navigation, so I think the navigation aspect is pretty good. There is nothing blinking, so blinking limit should not be an issue, except again my mouse. The transcribe audio, I've never used the transcribe audio feature before, so I'm hopefully everything will work properly in YouTube. And required software, I would have to have Microsoft Office, and the students would have to have Office. Or again, I could convert it to a Google Docs document, but I would definitely need to reformat it, and who knows how the text boxes would convert. So that would be a big concern too. So, all right. Thank you. I know that there would be a lot of special accommodations. The last one would be the write the meaningful links to the text with the creating this link. I did hyperlink it, so that is one good feature. Okay, thank you so much.